What's good, YouTube? Swiftly here back with another NBA 2K25 video. And in today's video, I have another episode of Badge Breakdowns for you guys, as you can see on your screen. Today's episode, we're going to be discussing the playmaking badge handles for days. Now, if you read the description, handles for days reduces the amount of energy lost when performing dribble moves. Now, ordinarily, this would be like a badge that everybody should be trying to strive for. Usually people would say, oh, only the PG, maybe the shooting guard really needs it. Uh, and I would agree with that. This year, however, excuse me, this year, however, I would disagree. I would say that this year, this is a badge that pretty much everybody should have some form of. I think you need like a minimum of like, what you need for it? I think you need like a 71 or something like that. You need a 71 at a minimum, which means most bigs aren't going to have this. If you're 7 foot, I think you cap out at a 70 or a 70. No, you might actually be able to get this as a big. If you go minimum wingspan, I think you at 7 feet, you might be able to get like a 72 or 71 ball handler or something like that. I'm just trying to think, like, because everybody should have this. Obviously, if you're on a center or a power forward, you don't need it as high. But the point guard, the shooting guard, the small forward, and to an extent the power forward, depending on his height, should have this on at least bronze. And the reason why I'm saying that is because of the weird change ups and speeds, the load ups, and all of that stuff like that. I've always been a firm believer in badges like this. There's two reasons why this badge is useful. Number one, it's going to reduce the amount of energy lost when you're performing dribble moves. So after you're dribbling and you shoot, your stamina won't be blinking red. And if your stamina is not blinking red, that means you won't get some crazy dumbass speed up or slow down on your jumper that we used to get constantly back in like 2K22 and 2K21 and 2K20. It was just annoying as hell, and it was like hard as hell to time your jumper because you're so used to catching and shooting or fading or whatever that you do a couple dribble moves to get open. Now that you're open, because you're blinking, now your jumper is like 60 seconds slower. So now you got to hold that shit for 3 years. And it's just annoying, right? That regard is why it's good or useful. And then the other aspect of it being useful is that it's really good for countering defenders, especially dudes who like to reach. Now, I've played lockdown. I've told you guys previously on this channel, I've played the lockdown build since 2K17. I've been playing lockdowns. I make a lockdown build every year since 17. There hasn't been a single 2K from 2K17 to 2K25 that I've played where I didn't make some form of a lockdown at some point. And usually that ended up becoming my main build. I can't remember last year what my build was. I can't remember what my lock. I think it was the lockdown perimeter defender or something like. I can't remember what my lock build was for 24, but for 23, I can't remember what my lock. No. I had a two-way stretch five for 23. For 22, I had a two-way sharpshooter. For 21, I had a multi-position defender. And then for 20, I want to say I had a two-way slash and playmaker. For 19, I had a lockdown. Like I went shooting guard. But I'm just naming off all the like lockdown. Obviously, I had other lock builds and stuff like that, but I'm just naming off the top of my head the lockdown builds. So I've had experience running locks and playing defense in this game for nearly a decade, right? I'm old, it's cool. But the shit that people don't realize why this badge is useful, right, against defenders is that you can't count dribbles. Like one of the things I used to do to like always get a steal was to count how many times somebody dribbled the ball. So if they did a dribble move, right, they do a crossover one, they do a crossover two, they do a size up three. That's three dribble moves. So when they do this fourth dribble move, I'm fucking reaching because I know that you already expended a bunch of energy. Your stamina is low. Now your player is a little tired. You're not blinking just yet, but if you do one or two more moves, I'm peeling that shit because you done dribble too much. And that's the shit that people never really thought of or why they were getting steals or plucked so easily. That's what I was doing. Now, obviously, you can't do that anymore because a badge like this kind of negates that. Because now if you're doing 3 dribble moves, right? Let's say you don't have handles for days. 5 dribble moves would mean you're blinking red, right? With handles for days, those 5 dribbles now become 8 dribbles. Or those 5 dribbles now become 9 dribbles because you got gold handles for days. It could be 10 dribbles now if you got Hall of Fame handles for days. What about legend handles for days? Now instead of dribbling 5 times and being blinking red, you can dribble 15 times and not be blinking red. You know, with legend handles for days. It kind of throws the defense off, which is why you see so many bad players. They just spam. They're not counting dribbles. They're not looking for the animations. They're not reaching when you're starting your dribble move or when you're finishing a dribble move and about to go into another one. They're just mashing square because the game kind of rewards that type of shit now. You know, back then you didn't have to mash or spam. You could just like 1, 2, now I'm going to reach. And you could get a steal every single time. When I say every single time, I mean literally every single time. If you knew when to wait for the dribble or what animation to watch for, you could literally rip somebody 100 out of 100 times in like 2K16, 2K17, 2K18. It wasn't until they added in handles for days. Even if you go further back when it wasn't even called glove, it was called pickpocket or whatever. You know, even back then, before handles for days, you were able to just straight up pick people cleanly without it because now they don't have that added boost to their stamina. You know what I mean? So that's why I feel like handles for days is just such a very useful badge. Not just for, like I said, for the defense, but also you want to use the badges that are going to help you with shooting as much as possible. If you look at the badges for shooting, there's only like 4 or 5 shooting badges. You know what I'm saying? If you include post fade as a shooting badge, I guess then you can say 6 badges, but it's just Deadeye, Limitless, Mini Marksman, Set Shot Specialist, Shifty Shooter, and then Post Fade, which I guess they consider an inside badge, but really 6 shooting badges. So you want to contribute to, you know, your ability to being able to shoot as much as possible. So even if that means slapping on something like handles for days and reducing your energy loss so you can use that stamina for making sure that you're getting a decent time shot versus something, you know, screwing up your timing. You're already getting random shot cues anyway or whatever for as far as when you're supposed to release the ball, but you know, this is going to at least help negate you getting a slowed down shot or a sped up shot or whatever it is now that's going to change your timing up. Because if you notice that, you'll get that when you're blinking red or when you have low stamina versus when you have a full stamina. Like your shot is way faster, way normal, versus when you're blinking, you're going to have like a way slowed down shot. So let me know down below what level of handles for days you guys are using, as well as what position you're playing. Because obviously, if you're a spot up, a small forward or something like that, you're not going to need to, you know, have a high level of handles for days. This is more so for those PGs and even the shooting guards. But let me know down below what has been your experience with handles for days and what level have you guys been running with. It has been your boy Swiftly. Please be sure to drop a like, comment, and subscribe for more NBA 2K25 content. And, of course, more badge breakdowns like this. I'm out, y'all. Peace.